In this session we're looking at debtors maintenance and we're looking at terms. The default for terms is non-applicable. If you click on the down arrow, you'll see you have COD, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, all the way to 180. Then you have LC and CAD. Now COD means that the client must pay you immediately, whereas a CAD, that is cash after delivery. In other words, the driver, you can process a transaction, the sale, the driver delivers the goods, and when the driver comes back with the money, you will process the debtor's receipt. LC is letter of credit. In our case, we'll say 30 days. Making sure that under company details default settings 1, you've set up or you selected the option check terms, and your security for the user has been set up correctly so that the user is not allowed to process a transaction if the debtor is in an older term than what was selected here. So if a transaction will be processed and the debtor is in 60 days, then a supervisor will have to override that transaction. And that is the explanation on terms. In the next option, we're looking at a credit limit. The credit limit will be checked when you process a sale, but you must make sure that the security is correct for that. So we will then just check to see if the person was still within the credit limit. If not, a screen will pop up saying the credit limit's been reached. If the user is allowed to carry on, the supervisor will have to override the transaction. Then you also have an insured credit limit that you can fill in. The next option we're looking at is export status. You can select if it's the export status of the client is export, then you can select that. Otherwise, local. If you don't make a selection, we will then use local as default. Then you have invoice discount. That will then be a percentage discount that the client will receive every time you process a sale for that client. It will automatically give that percentage discount. You can then specify a different price for a client. In other words, when you create a stock item under stock maintenance, you will fill in the different prices. You then specify the price for the debtor here, and that is then the price that will appear when you sell to this client. And then you can add a picture of this client. Just remember, these pictures do take up a lot of space and will slow your backup time. But all you have to do is right click and load and specify or select a picture. I will cancel the picture option, and that concludes this little session on account maintenance.